Grand Rising, my people, Grand Rising. It is TBYE Black Men Room Talk. And I am so anxious to get into this study today. I hope that you are taking notes. I know everybody can't get into this. And everybody really doesn't. Some of us just don't understand, like reading that is not entertaining. It's not really entertaining. This is education, and I hope that you are taking notes because the book that I'm reading from is all marked up. I've been reading this book for some time, and the longer I read it, the more interesting it gets. I'm not going to start reading it and discussing it till I'm done. So she was talking about her daughter and how when her daughter is she said her daughter is very white among the Japanese. Looking at her face, I often say to myself how white she is. As a mother, I feel happy, but when I see her among Caucasian children in a nursery school, alas, my daughter is yellow indeed. And the guy talked about how he has a certain realization that Japanese skin color is darker when compared with the white skin of Caucasians, and that is because when he is among his Caucasian friends for some time and another Japanese joins the group, he looks at him and his fellow countryman looks yellow or even black to him. And this in turn makes him feel momentarily self-conscious, and he feels himself different in the group. And I just feel like that right there is relatable to all non-white groups of people. Now, I'm reading this book exactly like the author wrote it. I'm not taking anything from it or adding anything to it, except for any comments that I might have about the book. So I'm trying to be as regular as I possibly can. So moving on into the continuation of the social perception of skin color in Japan. So, having few occasions to compare their skin color with that of other races, the Japanese apparently do not have any words available other than black and white to describe their skin. In modern Japan, Shakuro Iro, color of alloy and copper and gold, and Komoji Iro, color of wheat, are used to describe suntan skin, but other words for brown and yellow are rarely employed. When I asked a 30-year-old woman college graduate to describe the color of Japanese skin, she answered simultaneously, of course, it is Harairo, skin color. It is not known why the Japanese, after spending time among Caucasians, come to adopt the word yellow for their skin. This may be an attempt to adhere to common terminology, or it may be partially a continuation of a distinction between themselves and Southeast Asians whom they consider to be darker skinned. The informant who had told us about the yellow skin of her daughter was asked if she felt unhappy about her daughter's yellowness. Her answer was an emphatic no, although she admitted that the white skin of Caucasian women is beautiful. A college graduate married to a university professor, she suggested her solution to race problems. She said, I think there should be 3 different standards of beauty to be applied separately to 3 groups of people of different colors. It is a confusion of these standards or the loss of one or two of them that leads to tragedy and frustration. Many Japanese men, especially those in the United States, admit the beauty of white skin in Caucasian women, but also point out the sense of the inaccessibility of Caucasian women. Although the feeling of basic discontinuity between Japanese and found Caucasians found among those without much contact. Let me read that again. Although the feeling of basic discontinuity between Japanese and Caucasians found among those without much contact with Westerners may become weakened as the Japanese spend time among the whites. It may sometimes persist in this feeling of basic remoteness and inaccessibility. Looking at the white skin, I feel somehow that it belongs to a different world. People understand each other a great deal, but there is something which people of different races cannot quite share. It sounds foolish and irrational, I know, but somehow this is the feeling I have looking at the white skin of a Caucasian woman. White skin suggests a certain remoteness. When I went to Mexico, where most women are not white skinned like the American, I felt more at home seeing them. I felt more comfortable. Sometimes I feel that the white skin of the Caucasians tells me that, after all, I am Oriental and cannot acquire everything Western, however westernized I might be. It is like the last border I cannot go across, and it is symbolized by the white skin. Is this my inferiority feeling toward the white people? I often wonder. An extreme expression of such inferiority feelings about the Japanese skin color compared with that of the Caucasians is found in Up to Aiden, a short story by an award-winning French-educated Catholic author, Endo Shisaku, written in 1954 when he was 30 years old. This is Endo Shisaku's first literary work. In it, he emphasizes the basic discontinuity between European tradition and Japanese culture, focusing symbolically upon the hero's somewhat exaggerated feelings about physical differences between a white French woman and himself. The hero, a Japanese student on his way home from France, shares a fourth-class cabin on a cargo boat with a very ill African woman. The story is a beautiful montage of what the student sees and feels on the boat until it reaches Aiden and of his reminiscences of his painful love for a French girl while he was still in France. The following are several quotations from the story. The race does not make any difference, the French girl said impatiently. The whites, the yellows, or the blacks. They are all the same. That was what she said. Race does not make any difference. Later, she fell in love with me, and I did not refuse her love, because there was this illusion that race does not make any difference. In the beginning, in love, we did not at all take into consideration that her body was white and my skin was yellow. When we kissed for the first time, it was in the evening on our way home from Mabillon, where we had gone dancing. I shouted almost unintentionally to the girl who was leaning against the wall with her eyes closed. Are you sure? Are you sure you don't mind it's being me? But she simply answered, Stop talking and hold me in your arms. If race did not make any difference, why on the earth did I have to utter such a miserable question, like a groan at that time? If love had no frontiers and race did not matter, I should not have felt unself-confident, even for a moment. In reality, however, I had to try instinctively not to envisage, envisage a certain truth hidden beneath my groan. I was afraid of it. Less than 2 months after that evening, the day finally came when I had to see the truth. It was in the last winter when the two of us made a trip together from Paris to Lyon. It was in the evening when, for the first time, we showed our skin to each other. Breathlessly, we remained long in each other's arms. Golden hair had never looked to me more beautiful. Her naked body was of spotless, pure whiteness, and her golden hair smoothly flowed down from her shoulders. She was facing toward a door. I was facing toward curtained windows. As the light was on, our naked bodies were visible in a mirror on an armoire. In the beginning, I could not believe what I had seen in the mirror was really my body. My naked body had been very well proportioned for a Japanese. I was as tall as a European, and I was full in chest and limbs. Speaking of the body form, I would not look inharmonious when holding a white woman in my arms. But what I saw reflected in the mirror was something else. Beside the gleaming whiteness of her shoulders and breast in the lighted room, my body looked dull in a lifeless, dark yellow color. My chest and stomach did not look too bad, but around the neck and shoulders, turbid yellow color increased its dullness. The two different colors of our bodies in embrace did not show even a bit of beauty or harmony. It was ugly. I suddenly thought of a worm of a yellow muddy color clinging to a pure white flower. The color of my body suggested a human secretion, like bile. Wow. I wished I could cover my face and body with my hands. Cowardly, I turned off the light to lose my body in darkness. Hold me tight. We are in love, and that is enough, she said to me, once when we kissed at a street corner in dusk. But it was not enough that we were in love. By love only, she could not become a yellow woman and I could not become a white man. Love, logic, and ideology could not erase differences in skin color. Love, logic, and ideology could not erase differences in skin color. White men had allowed me to enter their world as long as their pride was not hurt. They had allowed me to wear their clothes, drink their wine, and love a white woman. They could not accept that a white woman loved me. They could not accept it because white people's skin is white and beautiful and because I am yellow and ugly. They could not stand a white woman falling in love with a man of such lifeless, muddy yellow color. Foolishly enough, I had not known or thought of it at all until this day, when the girl had announced her engagement to a Japanese man, only to invite frightened blame and anger from her friends. Lying down in the fourth-class cabin, I watched the feverish dark brown body of a sick African woman in front of my eyes. I truly feel her skin color is ugly. Black color is ugly, and yellow, turbid color is even more miserable. I and this Negro woman both belong eternally to ugly races. I do not know why and how only the white people's skin became the standard of beauty. I do not know why and how the standard of human beauty in sculpture and paintings all stemmed from the white body of the Greeks and has been so maintained until today. But what I am sure of is that in regard to the body, those like myself and Negroes can never forget miserable inferiority feelings in front of people possessing white skin, however vexing it might be to admit it. 3 years ago, when I came to Europe in high spirits, and when I came through this Suez Canal, I had not yet given much thought to the fact that I was yellow. In my passport, it was written that I was a Japanese, but at that time in my mind, Japanese were the same human beings as white people, both possessing reason and concepts. I had thought like a Marxian of class struggle and race conflict, but I had never thought of color conflict. Class conflict may be removed, but color conflict will remain eternally and eternally. I am yellow, and she is white. I want to go back and give the name of this Catholic author who wrote Up to Aiden, so that if anybody wants to research him, you can. The name is ENDO with that line on the top of the O for pronunciation. SHU with the line for pronunciation. Excuse me. SAKU. And I'm going to look up how to pronounce it, but this is deep right here. I got to go back and underline something but anyway, this is the part. I'm going to continue. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this up. But in the meantime, I ask that you have a wonderful day today, the weekend, and please take notes, and peace be unto you. I am TB Wahid, Black Living Room Talk.